watching and listening.
Can we get to anything?
Only when they're through, all right? I don't want to spoil it for them, okay? I'll be back in a few minutes.
So what should we call it?
What should you call me? Infrequently. Yes, I didn't ask for this meeting. You're welcome, but...
Before we start going to New Hampshire television, Channel 9.
Who are you?
Jim Parisi from Channel 9 in New Hampshire.
What are you doing here?
We're coming to visit.
Did you guys know he was here?
Fred did. Fred's already
Yeah,
been
we
interviewed.
Figures.
We talk. You want to know
You
if
have
we're gonna come and
exactly the
visit?
right auspices here.
We just had a great poll that showed 38% of the people looking to see you come down there. Up there.
All the others wanted him to stay away?
So let's get rid of it right away. Have you decided on the presidency yet?
On the what? I'm sorry.
On the presidency.
Go ahead, Jim. This is gonna be terrible. This dead film. I hate to do it.
Well, we know you're not going to announce right here and now, but we got to ask.
Are you from New Hampshire originally?
Rhode Island.
From Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Yeah,
You like New Hampshire?
very much. How about you?
What's happening there now?
I think there's a primary coming up in a little while.
It's complicated. I think for someone who hasn't been here, observing for the last 5 weeks or so. But in a nutshell, now I think what needs to be resolved before I can even make a decision is what's happening with our fiscal situation. New Hampshire's going to have trouble too. We have bigger numbers, but it's basically the same problem that you have, the same problem that most states in the Union are going to have. We're now wrestling over something like $700 million worth of deficit. We've just cut we've closed a gap of $6.5 billion. Now we have to do it again for $700 million. Then we have to prepare another budget for next year, April 1, which appears at this point to have billions of dollars of difficulty. Now that obviously is going to require a lot of time. I need to deal with a legislature that is intelligent and usually, in the end, cooperative, but tough to get them to that point, especially the Republicans. I need to figure out how my declaring that I'm going to go to New Hampshire and enter a primary a little bit late is going to affect the situation here. My first obligation, it seems to me, is to the people of this state, because I chose to run again in 1990. Some people said I shouldn't, that if you want to run for president, you should skip the race in 1990 for governor, then you'll be free. I knew that at the time and chose to run for governor. It seems to me gives me something of a commitment. It gets very complicated when you try to analyze it. You'd like to know what your people say. Very difficult to know. If you were to take the letters that are being written to me, they are overwhelmingly one way. If you paid any attention to polls, they might indicate something else. So it's difficult to get a reading on the people themselves. And in the end, you're left to make your own judgment as to what is the best thing for the people of your state, and that's what I'm trying to do. Well, how much time can you take? I honestly don't believe that anybody has been hurt because I've spent something like a month or so looking at the issue. Anywhere else but the world of politics and media, if you told the pure intelligence that you had spent 5 weeks while you were running one of the greatest states in the country to consider running for president, they said, gee, that's not a lot of time. So I don't know that anybody can complain legitimately, but that doesn't mean they can't complain. And that confuses things a little bit. I don't think, however, anybody's been damaged. None of the candidates, certainly. Candidates didn't announce on the expectation that I would not run. And if they did, they didn't have any right to. So I don't know that the candidates have any fair complaint, nor have any of them complained to me directly. So I don't think that that's a problem. The National Party has talked to our state chairman, and it appears there's no difficulty there. They're all in a hurry. Everybody's in a hurry. But so far, I don't think I can say that anyone has been damaged. If I thought someone was being damaged, of course, if I thought the people in my state were being damaged, I'd do something. So there you are. We're still in the midst of struggling over our own deficit. I think the people of New Hampshire, the people of all the states would expect of their own government that they first consider the welfare of their state before they did anything else. And that's what I'm trying to do. However imperfectly, that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, Governor,
But I'll tell you
these
this,
people.
if I looked like you, Parisi, I might make a different judgment immediately. You look like a candidate to me.
I don't know if that could be an insult. These people cover New York and I don't, but living in the area, New York has had money problems since as long almost as I can remember, and now...
Wait a minute, what are you talking about, Parisi?
Oh, you're kidding? I remember the bankrupt jokes from a good 12 years ago, 13 years.
You haven't paid your exit tax permit yet, have you? For getting out of the state?
No.
You haven't gotten a permit yet for getting out of the state to get back to New Hampshire?
I want to find out, I think, in a little while.
You will. By the time, when you get to the gate there where the state policeman is, he'll talk to you on the way out.
Point being, isn't it, wouldn't anyone have trouble trying to get the budget to work in this state right now?
Right now.
Can it be done?
Right now, Rhode Island, Bruce Sunderland, New Hampshire, Maine with Governor McKernan, all of them have the same problem. Most of them worse than ours in terms of percentages. California, much worse than ours. Even if you add a couple of $100 million to my current problem, 9 of the 13 that are now in trouble would be worse off than us. So it is very much a national syndrome. It's ironic to me that less than a year ago, I said that to people, and my own media didn't believe it. I got beaten up regularly by the newspapers that are represented here, and others saying, oh, well, this is just an attempt to evade. I remember giving a State of the State in which I talked about 1932 and Roosevelt and the New Deal. I guess it was the last one or the one before. And the press, New York Times, wrote, oh, this is just an attempt to cast blame on Washington, in effect. So this is, although it was clear to a lot of us that this was coming for a long time, the people are way behind. They're just catching up to the realities. They're pretty much there now, I think. I learned that last Saturday in South Carolina, where there was some real strong unanimity of opinion that the problem is national. It's not Rhode Island. It's not. Now, Rhode Island may foul up. New Hampshire may make some stupid mistakes. New York may make a whole lot of stupid mistakes. All of that may be true. But basically, it is a national problem. That doesn't mean there's no blame for us. Sure, there's blame at the local level. But it's basically a situation that will not be cured until it gets cured in Washington. That's another problem. Let me end it with this. One of the brilliant analysts is quoted in the papers today. I don't know who he is, because as usual with our papers, the really good stuff they say for the unnamed analyst. This is an unnamed analyst who says the following. This is his analysis. He says, they said, what does his budget mean to the presidential race? He says, one of two things. Either it will make it impossible, or it will make it, what was the other word?
Imperative.
Imperative. It's either impossible or imperative. Then these guys call me undecisive. You know, they're quoting analysts who say makes it either impossible or imperative, because you have all these different sides to the argument. So that's where we are, Parisi. Is it clear to you now?
Yeah.
Okay. You can get your permit. It's expensive getting out, incidentally.
I hope you have money
But
back
you just
there.
stop at the gate, and they'll see that you're escorted back to the border.
Governor,
Governor,
Right.
on
Thank
the
you.
subject of New Hampshire, you've mentioned in
It's a
recent
great
weeks that
state, incidentally, New Hampshire.
you've
A really beautiful state. Did I fail to tell you that? It's a really beautiful state.
have you ever been there, Governor?